Good early afternoon to you on this Tuesday. This weather video, driven by 802cars.com, representing 802 Toyota, Twin Cities Subaru, and 802 Honda, all located off of exit 7 on Interstate 89. Looking at the global shot here, wanted to show you a moisture train. It comes all the way from the tropics. This is near the intertropical convergence zone out in the Pacific. This is Mexico, that's Baja. You can kind of see the train here that goes all the way and kind of curls around, gets caught in the westerlies as we have a trough of lower pressure out west. Big Bermuda high-like ridge in the east, and the moisture train is right in between, of course. And indeed, that's what's moving through Vermont currently. So here's our string of moisture. It kind of cuts across Mexico, not being shown here. We got some thunderstorm activity down in the southern plain states. And this moisture is rotating around this area of higher pressure in an anticyclonic arc, arcing like this. And typically when you have these kind of arcs like that, you also have the possibility of freezing rain event. And we do have one on Friday and another one on Sunday. This is pretty limited. Looks just mostly like a travel issue. But really, it's that major warm intrusion we're talking about. This is going to last into the late part of the day on Wednesday during the day tomorrow. Spring-like flooding anticipated. A cold front with a busy weather pattern with marginally colder temperatures will usher in mixed precipitation events with one potential impactful event, including southeasterly gradient winds, taking place on Sunday. This is going to be the one that utilities will need to monitor the most. Less so mixed precipitation issues. Now, dry project weather will follow as a fairly large area of higher pressure pushes into the region, also cools down the temperature considerably. That is relatively low confidence being this far out for next Monday. Modeling generally past about 5 or 6 days has been less skillful, so things could change. You see the Bermuda high right here, though, and this is going to be the controlling influence of this moisture stream until this northern portion here kind of collapses down when this trough of lower pressure and a little bit of snow begins to work its way in. Okay, looking at the 6 hourly panels of the European model here, you can see that moisture train coming in and arcing around that Bermuda high. And the interesting thing is that tonight it begins to lift a little bit further to the north and eventually north into Canada. That'll take place, it looks like, by the morning hours on Wednesday. Wednesday will be the apex of the warmth, so what rain doesn't fall will be made up by the warm temperatures, which look to reach maybe as high as 65, and in some cases potentially maybe even a 70-degree, isolated 70-degree temperature in parts of southern Vermont and western Vermont. Quite the warmth, though. Now, eventually a cold front's going to be moving on through. That's driven, you can see, by a 1040 millibar or hectopascal area of higher pressure located over Wisconsin, looking west of the Great Lakes there. That's really going to be the controlling influence and pushes in and kind of knocks out that frontal precipitation, which will be mainly rain showers during the night tomorrow night or evening, and then colder weather begins to shift on in. But this Bermuda high is just not done with this. Unfortunately, it's the battle of the high pressure systems, and in between, well, that's where the moisture stream is going to be. So we have another disturbance that's going to work in across portions of southern New England, a little northern fringe, precipitation mostly in the form of light snow will develop, it looks like, during the day late Thursday and into Thursday night. It quickly falls apart. We have that 1041 area of higher pressure, hectopascals, located just due north of Vermont. And that'll be a controlling influence, but mostly at night. That's the thing. Every 12 hours, we got a lot of changes coming, so trying to get a dry, full day of 24 hours, forget it. So that area of higher pressure kind of pushes away, and here comes that next weather system. This is going to be happening on Friday night. Works on through. It looks like it's mostly rain, mixed precipitation starting out on the front edge of that. And it tails off with a little bit of widely scattered snow shower activity on Saturday. Another area of higher pressure transits through Quebec. Another moisture surge. It gets to our east, kind of picks it up to return southerly flow. And then we get another weather system. And this is going to be a stronger storm system. Now, you notice that the pressure gradients are relatively tight. We got warm air trying to move in over colder air. That means overrunning conditions. And yes, we are looking at some freezing rain, some sleet, some wet snow. It doesn't look like in the precipitation department it's going to be a huge deal, but generally probably under a half an inch at this point, but something that utilities need to monitor. but I also want to call your attention to the pressure gradient here, getting a relatively tight, fairly short lie, but it does look like there'll be some downsloping along our western slopes of the Green Mountains. I'm seeing wind gusts advertised by the European model, generally in that sort of 40, perhaps 55 miles per hour isolated summit gusts. So we're looking at an event potentially here. If this stays the same, it may change. I have low confidence on this far out at this point. This is something utilities should monitor. Now beyond that, that precipitation then pushes away. It tails off as a little bit of snow shower or flurry activity along about Sunday night. And then we finally get that day on Monday where we're going to actually have a full dry day. Amazing. GFS ensembles in very good agreement. We see rain, a little bit of snow, a little bit of rain, a little bit of snow, some freezing rain, and so forth. Not a heck of a lot with each one of these, but you put them all together, it starts to add up just a bit. It's pretty easy to see where the main storm track's going to be. We can see this moisture cutting across Mexico. It's probably extended, actually, but showing up with the Weather Prediction Center, U.S., and you can see the heaviest rains are going to be across portions of eastern Texas, Arklatex, and then continuing toward New England here with lesser amounts the further north and east you go. Warm intrusion is the name of the game, and this is where snowmelt and combined with some rainfall is producing high water to be expected. This temperature is actually going to get up over 60 degrees. This is the GFS ensemble, and then a sharp cold front to lower those temperatures, and you can see a colder period here, and we stay a little bit closer to seasonal norms. Trough in the west, ridge in the east. High pressure, Bermuda high almost conditions here with well above normal temperatures being circulated in from the south, and then colder weather to the west of us holding strong the opposite. Now, 3 days later, these are maximum temperature anomalies, cold in the west and warm in the east. And if you notice, it's actually a retrogression. You see these temperatures actually push a little bit to the west. And so this ridge of higher pressure, once again, is exerting itself just a bit more. And looking at temperature anomalies, you can see the cold, that's the north across most of Canada and into the western United States. This is our warm surge. Let's take a look at other parts of the planet here. Pretty warm across much of Asia, Eurasia. Little cold spot there. There's our colder weather, extends out in the Pacific Ocean. Very warm in Alaska. Southern hemisphere, not exceptional. It's the northern hemisphere that has a lot of these extremer temperatures. These are current temperatures on this Tuesday early afternoon. You can see temperatures have made it into the 50s, a lot of 40s. Further north and east you go, slightly colder temperatures to be expected. Right now, at this point in time, we have no issues, but the areas to watch with the strongest potential for flooding will be across northern areas along the Missisquoi River and up around North Troy. This particular location right here, that's where we're looking at some potential flooding here. This is 7-day GFS ensemble stored snowpack water, and you can see we start out here, so we're looking to melt a little bit less than just about 1/2 total. Again, Otter Creek, Center Rutland will probably see some minor spring-like flooding. And further north you go, it's very similar to this, roughly about 1/2 of the higher snowpacks up in the higher Green Mountains. And one last look of multi-model modeling. You can see temperatures forecasted during the portion of Wednesday to reach 70 degrees. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights.